Hi guys, today I wanted to do a quick video on the moon in Sagittarius. What happens if your moon sign is in the fiery, masculine, mutable sign of Sagittarius? So this is different from if your sun sign is in Sagittarius. This is basically your moon sign. It's part of the moon sign series that I'm doing on my channel. So Sagittarius is ruled uh, by the ninth house traditionally, which involves travel, which is all about higher education. It's about philosophy. It's about spirituality. It's about academics. And Sagittarius is a fire sign. It's mutable, so it's quite changeable in its nature. And its symbol is the centaur, which is basically a half man and a half beast. So there is a bit of an animalistic quality to Sagittarius. So what happens when your moon sign is in Sagittarius? So moon basically signifies your emotions, your subconscious state. It determines the kind of mother you had. Um, so, of course, a lot of this video is going to depend on the position of your moon, as in whether it's being aspected by other planets, which house it is in, and several other factors. But this is just a generic video about the moon in Sagittarius. So, let's get started. So, people who have the moon sign in Sagittarius tend to be quite impulsive in nature. This is because Sagittarius is a mutable sign, so it's very changeable. It pretty much goes with the flow. So those who have the moon in Sagittarius, they tend to be quite impulsive. They are pretty easygoing and laid back people. They don't really like a lot of drama or confrontation and things. They prefer to go with the flow. They can be quite hot tempered sometimes because moon is your emotions, right? So if your moon is in the sign of Sagittarius, which is fiery and impulsive, um, these people can sometimes be very quick to their temper. They may not really think things through. They may end up saying things or doing things that they might end up regretting later. They may have not thought things through. A lot of moon and Sagittarius people, they love to travel. It's Many moon and Sagittarius people that I know, it's always been their dream since they were a young child, to travel the world, live pretty much of a nomadic existence. And that's because Sagittarius is all about that. Sagittarius is all about travel and, exploring new places, new cities, new countries, new cultures. So these people tend to like that sort of free existence a lot. And this is again another aspect that, they will really value freedom in their lives. They really need a lot of space to just be able to manage their day to day. They don't like when relationships get very clingy or very clawing. Again, of course, this will depend on the state of the moon, if it's getting aspected by other planets, which house it is in. A lot of things come into consideration. But overall, people who have moon in Sagittarius, they tend to be the type of people who like to be very spontaneous. They like to take off to new places on a whim. They don't like too much planning. They're pretty spontaneous. And, a lot of the times, even when it comes to relationships, they don't really like being tied down to something or to somebody. Um, they may not be very attached towards their relationships. When I say attached, I don't mean that they don't love their partner. What I mean is that they may not be the kind of person who believes in, like, the saying that two people become one, like a complete merging of the partnership. So these may not be those kind of people. They like to keep things a little bit detached. because it is a fun-loving, light-hearted sign. You know, Sagittarius, the energy is quite playful. I think all the three fire signs, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, they all have a playful side to them, and Sagittarius is no exception. So these people, they like a light-hearted side to their romance and to their relationships. Um, a lot of them, they have a very good sense of humor, sometimes on the quirky side, and sometimes they can be very blunt when saying these things to other people, and this can often rub people the wrong way, uh, especially if they don't really get that Sagittarius sense of humor, which is quite quick, which is quite impulsive, and quite quirky. Um, they love to travel, they love to Sagittarius is the sign of exploration, and this does not just mean exploration of new places, but also exploration of the mind. So they love to study new things, and not necessarily study as in a Gemini would. Gemini is of course the polar opposite on the axis. So Gemini would probably look at the details, they would study the minutiae, but Sagittarius is not like that. Sagittarius is more about learning through experiences rather than, textbook knowledge. Um, Although they do like to read a lot and study a lot, but overall they like to experience things for themselves. So maybe they've learned something in a book and now they want to go try it out for themselves and see um, what they personally believe about it. So, Moon and Sagittarius people are the kind of people who are quite experimental in their lives. They like to try out new things. So, let's say they've discovered something new, a new topic about, say, philosophy or spirituality or anything to do with higher learning or pretty much anything that piques their interest. They are going to try and um, experiment things for themselves to see whether they really believe in what they have read or whether they have a different opinion on it. Mole and Sagittarius people also tend to be very opinionated people, um, but at the same time, they are not going to um, really have long drawn debates just to prove a point. I think that would depend on other signs, other aspects to the moon. But generally, moon and Sagittarius, they like to, um, they like to have an opinion on things. And usually it'll be a very different opinion from the others because they do like to stand out in a lot of ways, whether that be their opinion, whether that be the way they dress, the way they think. It's ruled by Jupiter, Sagittarius, so it's the planet of expansion. So these people are always trying to expand their knowledge, their outlook on life, and they do that through travel, they do that through reading up on different topics, different philosophies, different spiritualities. In fact, Moon in Sagittarius can be the kind of person who may even change their religion or their spiritual path somewhere down, in their life journey because they feel like, what they grew up with, the faith that they grew up with, is not necessarily what defines them later on in life. So as they grow and evolve in life, these may be the kind of people to experiment with new spiritualities, new spiritual paths, new religions, because, like I said, they are very experimental and they're not afraid of doing something that other people may shy away from. Sagittarius is a fire sign, so they are pretty bold in their decisions. They don't really weigh the pros and cons that much. If it feels right to them, and if it's spontaneous and on the spur of the moment, if they want to do something, they're going to do it. And that's where the mutable aspect of Sagittarius comes into play, because these people, they tend to change the way they think about life as they go with the flow. It's not like the fixed signs which tend to hold on to their own viewpoint for a really long time and they have trouble with change. Sagittarius, Moon in Sagittarius does not have problems with change. In fact, they like change, they welcome change. Um, In fact, if things get too boring and too ordinary or too placid for them, they'll actually lose interest, and they may want to break free of the relationship. So that's just about Moon and Sagittarius, guys. If you would like a natal chart reading, you can get in touch with me on my Facebook page. That's facebook.com/Venusian Score. I posted the link in the description box below. You can also email me at astroluck111 at gmail.com. Again, I've put the email ID in the description box below. And I do natal chart readings and I do synastry chart readings as well. So, for those who are not aware, synastry chart is basically relationship compatibility, where you compare the charts of the two people and try to understand how compatible they are as a couple, or in the relationship. And a natal chart reading is for an individual. It's basically an analysis of every aspect of their life, and what they can do to improve and better their life in all the areas. So guys, if you'd like a reading, do get in touch with me. That's it for today. My next video is going to be the moon in Capricorn, so stay tuned. Thanks a lot, guys.